freedom seeker. It's your immigration Moses, welcoming you to another journey towards your promised land. Here we part the waters of confusion, clear the deserts of misinformation, and guide you through the wilderness of immigration challenges. Together, we'll explore pathways, share inspiring stories, and deliver powerful insights that will illuminate your road ahead. So buckle up, stay hopeful, and let's make your immigration dreams a reality.
Hey guys, welcome to this iteration of the Immigration Moses podcast. I'm your host, as always, your Immigration Moses. Always with you, try to help you navigate this maze that they call the U.S. immigration system. So during the last episode, we talked about a lot of different things, and I asked for questions. So we have a bunch of questions. I'll go through those questions. I know there's a lot of uncertainty right now because this administration is testing to the limits the powers, testing that balance between the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary. As you can tell, with all the different cases that have been spilled out in the media or in the news, the executive branch is flexing their muscle. And that flexing is impacting a lot of people negatively. So a lot of the questions that I'll be touching on today stem from that place of fear. And that's one of the areas that we want to be able to address. I want to be able to give you that comfort, because once you have those answers, as I told you last time, knowledge is power. Knowing your rights, knowing what they can or can't do, makes you stand in a position of power. And in that position of power, you can flex. Always make sure you have resources around you. Your Immigration Moses, we are more than happy to be on your side. Diaspora Asset Management for all your immigration needs. Or if you have an immigration attorney or a representative, reach out to them and make sure you have them on your Rolodex. So when you encounter one of these officers who's trying to flex the executive branch's muscles, you would know your rights and be able to flex those. Let's dive into the questions. So we got a question from one of our key tuned-in viewers and one of the major subscribers. And they stated, what if my visa gets denied or not renewed? Will I be deported? And what this actually addresses a lot of times is the risk of deportation or that fear of being forced to leave the U.S. So I'll go through a couple of several different things that I'll discuss with you. One of the key things, that risk and fear of deportation is real. It is real because this administration is testing the limits of what has been acceptable before. The executive branch has rights, of course, and those rights are theirs. But it doesn't necessarily mean they can exercise those rights indiscriminately. So one of the things that I would advise you on is just make sure you stay on top of deadlines. So if you need to submit those documents within a timely manner, submit renewals early. As soon as you're eligible to submit renewals, submit them. So that gives you plenty of time to be able to make adjustments along the way. All right? Just make sure when you send documents to USCIS or to any federal agency, those documents are properly organized. So it makes the officer's job so much easier if they can just pull up tabs and they know what they're looking for, know where that specific document is located. It makes things so much easier. The other point that I would talk to you about is just make sure you keep a consultative presence. So an attorney in your Rolodex, which is what I've talked to you about, or an accredited representative. But always, I'll refer you to your Immigration Moses. So contact Diaspora Asset Management for all your immigration needs. We have a lot of nonprofits out there that help people, like Catholic Charities, where you can go through and they'll be able to provide you with an accredited representative to be able to work on your case and help you navigate this journey a lot more smoothly. Additionally, if you're eligible, explore switching to another status, right? So student, employment-based, asylum. If you are eligible, and those are the things that Diaspora Asset Management will be more than happy to look into for you and provide you with a guidance for you to be able to do that. So you can switch from one status to another. So that's another option for you. I talked to you about when your visa gets denied or not renewed, the fear of deportation is real. And sometimes once they deny one of these things, they will tell you on there what your course of action is. That is by law. They have to give you what recourse is. If you can appeal or if you can file a motion, whatever your recourse would be or whatever steps you could take, that is by law. They have to give you that information. So if you read the denial notice, it will tell you what the next steps should be. But make sure you reach out to Diaspora Asset Management and we will be more than happy to facilitate you moving along on this journey. All right? So hopefully this has given you a little bit of sense of comfort, knowing what your rights are, knowing what options are available to you. So if your visa gets denied, you know what steps to take. The second question that we received following our last podcast was, can I still apply for asylum or TPS? I heard they are limiting it now, all right? And what this stems into, that humanitarian protection are being restricted significantly. And it's true. A lot of the humanitarian rights that you benefited from are now being restricted. You even have people whose countries were eligible for TPS, who had been authorized TPS, that has been revoked, because that's the right of the executive arm to be able to do that. But yes, you can still apply. But policies change fast, just as this administration is showing us. So make sure you file as soon as possible to stay within those deadlines. And that's one of the things I'll talk to you about. Also work with the legal aid to make sure your case is strong and properly documented, right? Also follow updates from USCIS or trusted immigration news source, right? So that goes to that same question again. So the humanitarian protection start out being restricted. They are. But if you're eligible, because the law hasn't changed, it's just the exercise of that specific law. It's what the Trump administration is actually testing to the limits. That's why you see situations where it goes to the courts and the court will tell you, no, you're not eligible to do this. The administration has no powers to be able to do this, to remove your humanitarian relief or parole. But those are the things you have to be cognizant of, or those who are in your corner have to be cognizant of, so they can provide you with tools you need to be able to mount a proper legal defense and protect your status. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Remember, as always, this is a journey that we are on together. So if you have any questions, drop them into the comment section. I read those every day. And when we come back to the next episode, I'll answer as many questions as I can answer for that episode, and then we'll move forward to the next one. If new questions come up, we'll address those as they come along. But understand, always connect with us. Diaspora Asset Management, so DAM, always connect with us for all your immigration needs. We're here to help you. We're here to work for you to make sure that your legal status is not in jeopardy. Thanks for being on this journey with us, and I look forward to us collaborating next time.